Why Saudi Arabia connection BRICS might threaten the U.S. oil security. This question are going to be at the forefront of today's video amidst the growing tension between the U.S. and Asian country. The current land-Russia war. The Gulf nation has sent its interest to affix the BRICS bloc. Last week, President Cyril Ramaphosa of Republic of South Africa, throughout his visit to national capital, proclaimed that Prince Mohammed bin Salman expressed the kingdom's want to join the BRICS. There are alternative countries like Turkey, Egypt, among others, who have expressed their interest to affix the grouping, he told the media persons there in country. The difficulty of enlargement of the bloc of rising economies are going to be on the agenda of the BRICS summit, regular to require place in Republic of South Africa beneath its presidency in 2023. The case of Asian country, but is each curious and attention-grabbing. Saudi Arabia has historically been an adept ally of the US and West Asia. However, within the previous few months, the connection has undergone a roller coaster ride. Throughout his electoral campaign, President Biden projected Saudi Arabia as a Ismail state thanks to Blue Blood Salman's alleged involvement within the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, a Washington Post journalist once coming back to power. But he modified his course and visited Asian country. This visit was meant to confirm the low worth of oil to penalize Russia, as according earlier South Yankee nation. Argentina's President Alberto Fernandez had asked Chinese President Xi Jinping regarding connection. The cluster Persia too has sent in its request to affix. Each countries have already applied for the membership of the bloc earlier this year in Gregorian calendar month. The opposite countries, as well as Asian country Turkey and Egypt, are set to formally apply for the membership of BRICS. BRICS represents over 40% of the worldwide population and nearly 1/4 of the world's GDP, and if it's distended, it'll facilitate in bolstering the BRICS bloc's international influence at the BRICS summit this year. In keeping with reports quoting Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Xiao Lijin, several countries have expressed their interest to affix the bloc of rising markets, and declared that China actively supports the member countries to start out the enlargement method for BRICS incorporation at the Ordinal Summit this year. The members talked regarding the procedure and therefore the standards for the expansion talks between Republic of South Africa and Asian country. The talks between two countries happened amid the road between national capital and Washington over OPEC's call to chop production quotas by 2 million barrels on a daily basis, in keeping with reports. Whereas accusative the old ally of being getting ready to Russia throughout the land crisis, U.S. President Joe Biden had vulnerable Saudi Arabia with unspecified consequences. The lawmakers of the U.S. have required halting arms sales and are retreating military support to Asian country. Saudis have refused to toe Washington's line, in keeping with Professor Rajan during a recent development. The international organization, and which has Saudi Arabia and Russia as key players, has set to chop down the assembly of oil so as to keep up a high worth within the international market. Washington sees it as defiance and a transparent conceive to profit Russia. This has irked Washington, and President Biden warned Saudi Arabia of the results. What would be the consequences and whether or not the U.S. has the potential to penalize Asian country in today's world remains to be seen. The weakness of the Yankees' strategic influence is over again exposed. Against this backcloth, Saudi Arabia's interest in connection BRICS may be an effort to diversify its policy. It's going to well be employed to send a message to Washington that its alternative choices out there. If the push involves shove, he states BRICS membership. However, BRICS is nevertheless to choose increasing its membership. It doesn't have a transparent policy on enlargement. Within the past, such tries were rejected by a number of the members. Russia and China would be keen to incorporate Asian country in BRICS. However, alternative members may not share identical enthusiasm. Asian nation has shut ties with Saudi Arabia, but it's going to not be hospitable to concept of increasing the bloc at this moment. India, Brazil, and Republic of South Africa concerned that such demands may return from other countries too. BRICS constitutes of states that are regional leaders and that they are wary of rival states turning into members within the organization. Sharing her views with Monetary Specific Online, Karinik Costa Vasquez, Government Director of the Middle for African, Spanish American and Caribbean Studies, says international organization countries and oil-producing countries we tend to lose vertical bar together with Russia, and in a number of the largest customers like China and Asian nation wish to square along against like interference from the US and lowering costs. And these forms of things we have recently seen political motivations in the main sanctions on Russia. Then on this might be one amongst the explanation Asian country reached out for membership in BRICS. A second reason may be a number of these countries are willing to possess an additional distinguished role in affairs, and you see several of those countries raising their foreign help participating in international dialogue, and more the membership should be approved by agreement. Asian country is far nearer with the Asian nation, not solely geographically, however conjointly has more political and economic interests behind the correct as well as oil. So I suppose it's easier for India to take a footing on Saudi Arabia compared to Argentina, maybe that has weaker ties with Asian nation politically and economically. She opines Chinese specialists treat Asian countries' interest in BRICS. In keeping with a Beijing-based international relations knowledgeable who requested obscurity, the USA meant Saudi Arabia to concentrate to its directives and satisfy its demands. However, the development of events clearly indicated that Washington had overplayed its hand. According to the analysts, the U.S. is ungenerous in its dealings with Saudi Arabia, and therefore the plan of Connection BRICS shows Saudi Arabia's growing autonomy in its diplomacy with Washington. The expert further noted that Connection BRICS will shield Asian countries' own energy interests during a substantive method instead of being a card to be utilized by others, as declared by the Beijing-based knowledgeable. If Saudi Arabia joins BRICS, it would be a promotion to the Center-East countries to strengthen their ties with BRICS countries and weaken the intervention and influence of the USA within the space, the oil for security framework between Saudi Arabia, and therefore the US has to be adjusted in lightweight of the evolving international scenario, in keeping with Li Shaxian, director of the China Institute for Arab Studies at Ningxia University, who spoke to the Worldwide Times on Wednesday. The Center-East contains a clearly elevated position within the world. Europe depends on that for energy. Russia takes notice to that, and China has robust links with it with a Belt and Road Initiative. However, the Saudis don't feel equality and mutual respect in the US-led framework. Safe BRICS nations have displayed exaggerated cooperation and shall modification the dollar-dominated economic system among BRICS. Russia and China are leading the de-dollarization initiatives to safeguard their interests stemming from their political science contention with the US and considering the chance of future sanctions against them. Asian nation Brazil and Republic of South Africa have supported statements by BRICS on fixing the worldwide economic system and making additional opportunities to market the utilization of native currencies for international trade. All BRICS members have taken steps to de-dollarize and improve their autonomy within the international economic system. The elemental reason for developing an SDR-like basket currency for BRICS nations is to handle the U.S. greenback form of government and build their sphere of influence and unit of currency. Among that sphere, it's still unclear if all BRICS members wish to transfer foreign reserves to develop this new sphere of influence. The greenbackization, the technique, or another may be a shared interest and priority for all BRICS nations to diversify and cut back the chance of exogenous shocks and currency shocks caused by the U.S. dollar. But whereas BRICS member states together and singly intend to safeguard their international monetary interests by developing a reserve currency, over dependence on the USA dollar poses challenges that will build such an inspiration a distant reality. What are your thoughts on BRICS, and does one suppose it'll overthrow the USA greenback? Let me understand down below. That is it for today's video, and I hope you've got a better vertical bar, a far better vertical bar, a much better vertical bar, a higher vertical bar, a stronger vertical bar, a additional robust vertical bar, and improved understanding of BRICS and its potential partnership with Asian country. If you wish to still find out about business, finance, and monetary education, we've got 2 more videos waiting on the screen for you to visualize out. Do not forget to relinquish this video a like and subscribe for more videos regarding finance. Many thanks such a lot for looking, and I will see you within the next one.